Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Ed Albin, Associate Professor and Department Chair for Space Studies here at the American Public University System. And it's my pleasure to bring the conference to a close this afternoon. I will keep the closing remarks fairly brief. I have a few slides that overview the theme of our conference, preparing for the cosmos, readying the next generation of students for exploration. Before I begin, I would particularly like to thank my colleagues and all of the presenters today. It's hard to believe over 2 days, we had 44 sessions, I believe, yesterday 20 sessions, and today 24 sessions. So a lot of good material. It was I was telling my wife at lunch, it's like a three-ring circus. You have to pick and choose which ring you're going to go to. And that can be a bit of a challenge. But in addition to the presenters and my colleagues and faculty members, I'd especially like to thank the students who presented today, the next generation that our conference was about. I'd also like to thank my host institution, the American Public University System, President Nuno Fernandez, and also our interim STEM Dean, Brian Freeland, and once again, all of my faculty and chairs of the various sessions. And we also would like to thank our co-organization that really put the conference together. Technically, the Policy Studies Organization. It really takes a team to put one of these together. Well, let me just say a little bit about how I got into space, the field of space exploration and space education. When I was very young, back in the 1960s, growing up during the Apollo era, watching astronauts travel to the moon just totally blew my mind. And it was this Apollo mission, humans traveling into deep space, that inspired me to go on to get degrees in earth sciences, planetary science, and planetary geology. And so just as I was a youngster growing up in the 60s and following the Apollo program into the early 70s, our current generation of future space explorers are really witnessing a tipping point in the exploration of deep space. We are returning humans back to the moon and then onward to Mars and beyond. And this is really exciting stuff. And how are we going to do this? Well, they're very large rockets. You can see on the left side the launch of the SpaceX's Starship. And we have an upcoming launch, I believe, that will happen in November. And being based in Atlanta, I am looking at the logistics of driving to Boca Chica, Texas, to witness the next launch of Starship. And this is the vehicle that will carry us to the moon and onward to Mars. Gwynne Shotwell and Elon Musk of SpaceX are talking about sending 2 unmanned starships to Mars in 2 years with the following opposition. And then in 4 years, the next sequence of Mars and Earth coming close together, actually sending humans to additional starships to Mars. Now, we'll see how that goes, but this is really exciting. And we know how Elon is with the schedule, so whether or not that will happen on that time frame, we're not sure. But I am very confident, as are my colleagues, that this will happen. And this is exciting stuff for the next generation. Now, in addition to these missions that will carry humans onward into the solar system to Mars and eventually beyond, there are robotic missions that are happening. And I'm showing an image at the top of the Curiosity rover that I had an opportunity to see launch. This was in 2011 from the Cape. And again, being in Atlanta, that's doable in terms of driving down. It's about an 7 or 8 hour drive down to the Cape. And my daughter and I, she is an astronomer. She's a planetarium director for Small College here in Georgia. She and I are going to head down next month for the launch of the Europa Clipper. So a lot of cool stuff going on, both with human space flight and also robotic exploration of the solar system. Now, taking a look, so if we look at our conference, these are a few of the sessions that I attended over the last couple of days, and my mind is reeling from all of the information conveyed by our speakers, and I was particularly impressed not only with our speakers from all over the world, but especially with our next generation of speakers, our students, who really put together a fine star party last night. I was up quite late, as many of us were, and we looked at a number of celestial objects, and this was pretty cool. It was orchestrated by our American Public University students. We also saw this afternoon really quite inspiring ongoing research by the next generation, our students, with a student poster session and students describing sort of in an iPoster type session, the research that we're doing. And this gives me so much hope and excitement for the next step, the next generation, as we seek out to explore the solar system. Now, our conference, I think was, and you will probably agree, and I didn't really realize this until this afternoon, just watching Carl Starr's keynote talk, especially toward the end, where Carl was discussing the James Webb Space Telescope, where he was mission operations manager at the time of the launch, and a perfect launch on a Christmas morning. And the imagery turned by the James Webb Space Telescope is just phenomenal. And Carl represents the government in terms of space exploration, the 3 prongs, and these, the government, the military, and commercial, and that we saw in our presentations. We had a good representation from all 3 arenas. Our first keynote speaker yesterday was a commercial astronaut, and Sion Proctor flew on the SpaceX Falcon 9 Dragon spacecraft and represented the commercial space industry, commercial astronauts. And as she discussed in her talk, we're going to see many, many more commercial astronauts. And this opens up opportunities for our students and the next generation. In fact, Elon Musk and SpaceX, their goal is to set up a colony, as we know, on the surface of Mars with 1 million colonists or explorers there to set up a sustainable a city on the red planet, and this is really quite exciting that we're doing this. So there will be opportunities in the future, if all goes well, with the Starship, in terms of fleets of these starships carrying perhaps our students, future explorers, onward to the red planet Mars. And then we had John Binti Vegna, or B9, the Chief Master Sergeant for the Space Force, representing the military. And I was thinking about today in his presentation where he was describing how the Space Force works and opportunities for students and professionals in the Space Force. I was thinking about the exploration of the Earth, for example, with Captain James Cook exploring the oceans of the Earth, Magellan, Columbus, other explorers. And it really, if we think about it, it was the military that led the way. So it's pretty cool to see that we now have a Space Force that will help pave the way for humanity to become a multi-planetary species. All right. Just a couple of more slides. I did want to mention that all of our presenters are eligible to submit a paper to our Space Education and Strategic Applications Journal. And I've included a link there. You can find that. Just do a search, CISA Journal, and you'll find the link. And you'll also receive follow-up information from our conference planners on submitting to the journal. This is a great venue, peer-reviewed journal to publish your findings. So we certainly encourage you to take advantage of that. And finally, just because I can, I was going to put a brief plug in for our American Public University Space Studies Department that you heard a lot about today, along with PSO. We've sponsored the CISA conference over the past 5 years. And two premier research organizations here at the university and in the department are our Analog Astronaut Research Group, and also what we call our Supernova Research Group. The Astronomy Research Group, Supernova Research Group, utilizes our PlaneWave 24-inch CDK telescope for online observing and collecting data of the sky. This is really a cool benefit to our students here at the university for capstone, developing a capstone thesis, collecting original data, and also students traveling out to various analog research laboratories to do studies. And here You can see one of our happy students in North Dakota at the Inflatable Lunar and Martian Laboratory analog setup at the University of North Dakota, very happily wearing the spacesuit to conduct EVA out at that research facility. And I've included at the bottom of the slide a couple of links for interested students to our undergraduate program and also our graduate program in space studies, where we have 5 concentrations, which include astronomy, aerospace, Earth and planetary sciences, space entrepreneurship, and space policy. So if this interests you, please check those out and feel free to get in touch with me and my faculty. We'd love to tell you more about that. And finally, I promised this would not go on forever. We'll wrap this up again with a big thank you to everyone, our presenters, faculty, the administration at American Public University, and PSO for helping out, and of course, again, all of our presenters. Have a great weekend. I am heading out to a local pizza joint with a wife to celebrate, have some pizza and a beer, and encourage you to have a great weekend. The weather is fantastic here in Atlanta. Will be this weekend. I'm planning on getting out and enjoying the autumnal equinox, the first day of fall, this Sunday at about 8:45 a.m. So have a great weekend. Thank you so much, and we hope to see you next year. Bye-bye.